Good morning. It is 6:43 a.m. on Friday, December 11th, 2015. I'm Christiana Ellis and I just got up. Luna just found her squeaky toy. This is 5 more minutes. See, the part of the reason that I'm laughing at Luna squeaking her toy is that literally she just started doing that as I started talking. She's just been walking around not squeaking the toy until I started talking. It is absolutely a response to me not paying attention to her. Or rather, it's not that I'm not paying attention to her, it's more that I'm paying attention to anything but her. Isn't that right, Lena? Are you a sweet little dog, Luna? Are you a good girl? Alright. I'm tired again this morning. I know that's become a repeated refrain, but you know what? You're watching me do these videos first thing in the morning every day. That's what you get. It's kind of what it says on the tin. Last night, at least, I was accomplishing something semi-productive, namely, we were recording the latest episode of Talking About Survivor, we being me and my good buddy Mike Mateen. This is the penultimate episode of this season, which has been a great season so far. And we had a longer than usual episode last night just because there's lots to talk about. It's a great season of a great show. I feel like I've done a video before on this series, just talking about what it is I think that there is to like about Survivor. I don't know though if there's anyone watching these that feels like you would like to hear a defense of that. Let me know. Maybe I can revisit it. Anyway, one of the things that I thought I might do today is to have just a brief series of recommending some of the more recent podcasts that I've discovered and enjoying. This is not the full extent of the podcasts I listen to. I listen to a lot of podcasts, but these are some of my more recent discoveries that I'm really enjoying. So, one is called The Worst Idea of All Time podcast. And this is done by a couple of guys from New Zealand. And if you go back and listen from the beginning, which is really what you ought to do, they decide that they're going to, as just an experiment, they're going to watch a single movie over and over once a week for a year. And they're not picking a good movie. No, what they pick is Grown Ups 2. Because of it being so part of the idea for the selection is that they wanted to pick a movie that was bad, but sort of inoffensively bad. Like, it's not hilariously inept, it's just not good. And so that's why they pick Grown Ups 2. And so the idea is that they're just watching this movie that neither of them enjoyed even on the first viewing, but they're going to watch it over and over and over and then talk about it for 20 minutes at least 52 times in a row. And I'm only maybe 25. No, not even quite that. Maybe like 18 or 19 episodes in. But it's continuously interesting also. I have not seen the film, and their recommendation is that you not see the film. Let them shoulder that burden for you. Incidentally, also, neither of them saw the first one either. It's pretty interesting, the idea of doing a deep dive analysis of something that is apparently so shallow. Anyway, that's fun. Serial just started a new season, which was kind of a by surprise sort of thing. So there's a new season that just started about Bo Bergdahl, who is the U.S. soldier who's captured by the Taliban but it's a complex story because he was not captured in sort of the ordinary expected way. He was captured because he literally just walked away from his base out to where the Taliban was, and then they captured him. And so, why would he do that? And what are the larger issues involved is apparently what they're going to tackle on this season. So that's interesting. I liked the first season a lot. I'm listening to the JV Club, which is hosted by Janet Varney, who I was first introduced to by name in her participation on the Thrilling Adventure Hour, but who I then subsequently discovered was also the actress who did the voice for Korra on Legend of Korra, which made me very happy because I love that show. And so she's great, and the JV Club is a podcast where she just interviews people and they talk about stuff. But one of the things that I like about it is that it's a little bit like the Nerdist in format, but they just talk more, it's a little more, girl focused, right? It's and they talk about some different stuff, and there's a little bit of a different emphasis. And one of the things that they do every time is they play the MASH game, which you may remember from like middle school, where you have the little paper thing where you unfold it various ways, and are you going to live in a mansion, an apartment, a shack, or a house? And so they play one of those every time, and it's kind of fun. One of my recent favorites is called Hello from the Magic Tavern. And this is an improvisation-based podcast where the premise is that we've got a normal human guy who falls through a magical portal behind a Burger King into a magical land named Foon. And he meets up with a talking badger and a wizard, and they hang out in this tavern. And because he's still getting a Wi-Fi signal from the Burger King through the portal, he decides to start doing a podcast where he interviews people from the land of Foon. But it's all like improvised. I'm sure some of it's, some of the details are planned in advance, but a lot of it's improvised, and it's really funny. And it's something too where they're definitely building a continuity of callbacks and references week to week, where there'll be a couple of episodes where they talk about this other wizard that's a little more famous than the wizard on the show, and it's like, oh yeah, Spintax the Green, now he's a wizard, and it'll be just reference. But then like several weeks later, you might have Spintax the Green is a guest on the show, and you actually meet him, and it's super fun. I'm rambling because it's early, but I'm also past my 5 minutes, so maybe those recommendations will do for now. Just to recap, that's The Worst Idea of All Time podcast, Serial, the JV Club, and Hello from the Magic Tavern. All right, so I'll talk to you guys tomorrow for 5 more minutes. Hopefully I'll be more rested.